Stanley Parable. We are playing Stanley Parable 2, or is it Deluxe Edition? We are getting the final 3 bucket endings that I need to show. I think there's 3? I think there's 2 actually. Yeah, it's 2. Let's get on with it. Come on SSD, you are so fast usually.
This is the...
We've heard this. I'll come back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find Aunt. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Ooh, his office. Now this is... There we go.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
That sounds good to me. Oh, we can't flood his, To be rich, is it a crime? To make crimes, is it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Seems a bit odd. Let's carry on anyway. Let's get these endings done. Then we can call this series a further due and get back to being in
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
No human
Crushed
life.
by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh, another figurine.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs. Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
That's brilliant. We keep finding them. Now we head down. It's never loading. Ah, it's a new loading screen.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I bet it will be.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Oh, I wonder what this does, guys.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Like portal assets. Oh wait, it was built in source SDK.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine, Bucket. We're gonna make it out alive.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Hey, don't call my mind feeble.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never!
That sounds like
he squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over an... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
I am actually. It's nice to see animals be featured in a game like this. Hey, you took away the birds. Come on, man. That's rude. Everyone knows that's rude.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Wait, what?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I know there's the broom closet one, but we won't be getting that because it means I'd have to fast forward a lot of time. Yeah, can we find them all? Bottom text. There will be a reward. Trust the completionist instinct. I've got to trust the completionist instinct. They're gonna find them all. No, there's not one in here.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Let's go to the boss's office now. What's in here? Oh, an elevator. That's a cruel business strategy, I like it. Let's press down. Down again. So while we're in an elevator, how is it around things? That elevator went nowhere. Absolutely no way.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yeah, the bucket knew all
Yes,
along, mate.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
It is. Very logical. No! There's no Stanley figurine. No! Oh, wait, we collected it. I think I've heard there's another ending that we can get. So if we go...
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
We've got to do all this all over again. Thanks for resetting us, narrator.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I wonder, what does this place hold? It's so important. Yeah, guys, we'll be doing more videos.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Sounds like a school.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Seems like I'm watching 1983 in a game.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Thank you. Let's get to this final one.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Thank you, Light, for being a low strobe.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he...
What happened?
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
I think we're about to just turn all the power off.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
Huh?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No!
Unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Let's find out. Am I going to be trapped? Oh, no.
All of his co-workers were gone, What could it mean?
Where are all my
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfect. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm pretty sure there's a door that opens something. Huh. Somewhere with both red and blue. So we've got to put the bucket away and then took the new stairs. So we've gone down the stairs by the sound of that, and then a large room, lots of boxes. I don't know where that is. So yeah, we're gonna have to collect them all. Hey, my thumbnail cover. Hey, I'll get it for the video.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
So a room filled with boxes. I'm not too sure where that would be. Let's go back to the office, do the same code and get...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Let's go, go, go. Then we can collect the final 2. It's been a long day. Let's get these.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
I don't think we will. We've got that skill where we can survive.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
So you want us to go through the door
At this
behind
point,
us?
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Ah, nice glowing red portal door. Let's go into it. I think there's some portal stuff. When they end up, we don't load fast. Oh, we're back here. You remember this from the first episode? Yes, sadly.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Huh, the walls have stopped.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Ouch. Who is that mysterious lady that keeps dropping us into these holes?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Whoa. So what's happened? You guys can pause to read it. I've read it.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Hey, my life's not short. Now that would be cool. It's like a Da Vinci idea, that. I want to see something like that. Two-handled bucket. Whoa, the first ever bucket. The stress bucket, how does it work? Oh, right. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It technically works on the mind. Something like that. Ah, nice. Cave Indian. Ooh. I'm not sure, where's that music coming from?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
That's true.
It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
No, the bucket should kneel before the man. Huh. Oh. We're gone.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Will it?
Let Stanley die. Let
What?
him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh, that's so wrong. That's so messed up, narrator lady. Oh, there we go. So he said something about red and blue.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So just like a normal playthrough, but now we're finding them. Ah. Employee 421 building a bridge. Alright, so red and blue and lots of boxes. Where could there be lots of boxes? Certainly not in here, I know that for sure.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
We've
office.
gone the wrong way. So we need to go to the room with red and blue.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
421. That's... So look, is it a desk or is it an actual... Ah, it's a desk. There's gotta be some way into there. Oh man.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
That door's not up. Wait a minute, something to do with boxes.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Damn it.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
What?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I don't think I did.
The lounge was sublime. a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Controller just auto-disconnected.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm... You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can.
Just go on, figurine.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Stanley walked back through this way and went back out. What's so important that I have to go through the red door?
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley?
Nope.
I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped.
I think we found an alternate
and
ending.
I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Show me then.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going?
There's a door.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Where do these stairs
Please,
lead?
no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
I have thought I won't do it. You know what? It's an ending. We gotta unlock it.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Yeah.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really...
This is where I'd be happy. Finding that vent. But what?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The layout's changing.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
We've got to be an imposter, guys. We've got to vent. Large room, lots of options. I don't know how we get to that one. There's got to be a vent somewhere on this path.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. We've got to try again. There's got to be a way to load it in. Come on. Oh, we can't load in a different office.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. Giddy but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
We need to be sus. We need to get in this vent, man. Where is it?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Where?
And there it is, the last
Yay.
Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Give me an achievement at least. Ah, no achievement.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I think there's another ending through that vent.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
What?
Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Just for him. Real.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
We're about to get 7, we're about to
We
get
were
7,
so
we're about to
innocent.
get 7.
We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Wait, what? We just got 7 out of 6. Wait, what?
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
We got the figurine ending. So a rare ending. Boss's office.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember? No. Under the stairs was the 4th place you found a Figanley, not the 3rd. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what?
Yeah.
If under the stairs feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments?
Oh, kind of interrupted me, mate. Well, never mind.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Hey, we're back
This
here.
was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
Oh,
Enjoy.
no.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Do these lead to the same place? No, it's no, it's down there. Oh, we're trapped. Ooh, boxes.
And then, Stanley, we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the warehouse. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Alright, where do we go from here? Do we continue on in the vent, I guess? This is...
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
And I think that's the end of the game. Let's take a
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on.
What?
Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Why are we doing it backwards?
Okay, yes. This spot in the warehouse. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
It's going to end up looping back. Yep.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Same, I guess.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
And then we were at the stairs.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
I thought that meant was something now. I'm going to wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Did we not unlock this section? No. We locked it. I can't believe we found 13 out of 6.
This was our second Figly. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh no. Everything.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. Oh, yes! The 2 doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Lead to the same spot. The office.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
What are you trying to remember? We can't have been out before
Yes,
the office.
I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again.
Okay.
I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much.
I'll be right back.
Okay, here we go.
A few moments later.
And we're back. Let's resume the game. Controller? Hello. There we go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Oh, so one last time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is still part of the final one, I think.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
We're going to end it on the good ending.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
I am letting you talk.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I've got a nice top through so when I'm editing this, so that's why I had to go. So, yeah, we're just...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Just waiting the time for beat time. And, well...
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
You're giving me an option? Of course I am.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
It's gotten darker on this storytelling, I tell you.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yes, because the narrator is in control of this right now.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Well, this is going to be the moment where a 4-part series I have created comes to an end. Well, we've done it. Completing it.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Yes, it very much was.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I can't believe I'm saying this, guys. That's a series, actually.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Well, we've completed the game. I'm sad, but also happy. Mixed emotions.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
He's back to normal.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We've just completed the game.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
So
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Right, we're here, and I am now going to say this. Thank you all for being alongside during this gameplay. Those who have watched, those who haven't. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I have enjoyed playing this game with yous. I mean, we haven't gotten one ending, but we've played through all of it. And I'm glad to say this series is over. We'll be working on another soon. Once we get that Radeon RX 7600 XT to work with an AMD Ryzen 5 5500. Anyway guys, I'm going to end the Stanley Parable in this situation here where I'm leaving you guys with the office to look at as the outro. Now, if you did, comment. If you did like this video, comment, like, and subscribe. If you didn't, comment down below what I need to change in my videos. I'm open to suggestions. Anyway guys, this has been HarkiGaming with Stanley Parable. I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.